Greetings and salutations. I hope everyone's having themselves a mighty fine day. Please like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell down so the goals to the 13-month series doesn't get you when you can stay notified. I've been cooking up like I told you guys, and I'm very excited to share this project that I've been working on with all of you. But before we hop into the meat and potatoes of this video, I need to say a couple of things first. The most obvious one being that as a football fan or soccer fan, I've been watching this sport and playing it since I was like 4, as long as I can really remember. But I don't know every single player, every single team. I don't watch every single league. I don't even watch all the leagues in all the top 5 leagues in Europe. Can't say that I've watched too much Liga and Bundesliga, but La Liga and English Premier League are the two that I watch the most, followed by Serie A when Ronaldo was at Juventus. I used to watch a lot of Serie A around that time. So just remember that. Keep that in mind. I'm not like the end all be all. I know every single thing about every single player. I didn't even remember some of these characters in Tower of God, which is kind of funny. So there's that too. And I do think some of these I could have forced. By my estimation, I found 40 characters as of this video that reference or are based off of football players all across the world and across many time periods. But some of them could be a mixture of a football player and let's say like a historic opera singer from somewhere important around the world. So keep that in mind. Take some of these with a grain of salt. If you disagree or you think you found some that I may have ended up missing, definitely feel free to comment those in the comment section below. I want to point out that if you didn't notice this and you don't know this, Abi Celeste, which is the name of the Argentinian international football team, the senior team, their colors are actually the Kun family colors for the most part. That shade of blue is very representative of how all the Kun family members tend to look in their hair color. So soccer things have seeped into the series in other ways too, and maybe I'll make a video about that, but we'll be focusing on just kind of characters and character names for this. Kun Aguero Agnes is the most obvious one because he is based off of Sergio Kun Aguero. SIU has a tendency a lot of times when he's referencing these characters, what he'll do is he'll kind of mix around the names, remove a letter, add a letter, kind of just change the way it's spelt, but it's still pronounced the same way that it looks in order to, I guess, kind of curb search algorithms and not make these football players pop up when you search these characters. But Kun Aguero is a Manchester City legend. I mean, just listen.
Balotelli, Aguero!
And he played for the Argentinian international team. He also had a baby with Maradona's daughter. This guy's a legend. So that is who Aguero is based off. And the reason that I tend to always call Kun Aguero is because of this. I don't like calling him Kun. I like calling him Aguero because I like Aguero. Walcott from the Hidden Floor was one of those, like, I guess dead, undead, weird soul, floor of death minions. I said Hidden Floor. I meant Floor of Death. And they're based off of Theo Walcott. Theo Walcott is an English football player who is most known. I mostly know him from Arsenal. And he was quite the speedy fellow. He had incredible pace. He was quite fast. And he was a player that I enjoyed watching a lot growing up. Not that he's not that I don't think he's done playing, but Fabregas is another weird Floor of Death minion that is based off of Cesc Fabregas. Now, he's a Spaniard legend. He's part of the torment that I had to go through from 2008 to about 2012, if I have my numbers correctly, when Spain was on top of the world internationally, where they won the Euros, the World Cup, and the Euros again. I mostly know him from Arsenal and Barcelona, and I do believe he captained the Spanish international team once upon a time, and I do think he also played at Chelsea. Quadrado is a character that you may not necessarily know or remember. We've never seen him. He's just been mentioned. This is the character that I believe had Kranos, and maybe I think Rek took it from him and gave it to Yuri. Kranos being the weapon that Yuri used against Karaka right after the name hunt station. And Juan Cuadrado is a Juventus player who also plays for the international team of Colombia, and he's quite good. I've always liked watching him. He dances a lot. He's pretty cool. So shout out to them. But Quadrado in the Tower of God story does not have a picture or anything, so I don't have a visual for him there. So I apologize for that. Kang Horiang's real name is Beniamino Ilmar, and I do believe that he's based off of Beniamino di Giacomo. This is not a player that I'm super familiar with. A little bit old, a little bit before my time, but they played for Italy. Now, I did see in the blog post that apparently he could be based off of this other football player and or some type of opera singer from Italy. I know nothing about that, so if you do, I mean, feel free to share. That is not my wheelhouse. I know nothing about opera. I can't sing. I got no musical no musical talent. I'm very excited to speak about this one, which I've always thought was probably the case, but after looking into it, I definitely believe it is the case. R.E.D Iniesta is based off one of the most legendary midfielders that I have the pleasure of experiencing, Andres Iniesta, another Spaniard that was a part of that legendary Spain international dominance when they won the Euros, the World Cup, and the Euros again from 2008 to 2012. A Barcelona legend, and he's just a great dribbler with extreme accurate passes. And sometimes I wish that maybe some of the characteristics of those players maybe tied into the personality or fighting style of the characters. But from what I can tell, Aria Iniesta and Andres Iniesta don't really have anything in common except their names being pretty similar. But it's super cool to think about. This one will be pretty short because I don't know this player. No, there's no nor are there any pictures, nor have we ever seen Imort. But Imort could be possibly named after Kartsen Imort from Wilson Haven, and he's a German player that's already retired. I don't know this player. Again, there's no picture really of him, nor Imort, so we're just gonna keep going. Chagrinsky is this dude. I said this dude because I honestly didn't remember him. So there we go. Actually, this one's pretty obvious to me. He's based off of Dmytro Chagrinsky. He is a Ukrainian player who played for AEK Athens and Shakhtar. I believe he was also on Barcelona for a little bit as a defender, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's who Chikrinski is based off. You'll find that a lot of these characters aren't particularly super important, but they're still based off of football players. But there's still a lot of characters who are um, well known or have notoriety or could be important that are based off of football players. For example, Kun Icardi. We've only seen Kun Icardi in the data floor, the hidden floor, the sword art arc, as Sibi would call it. But he's based off Mauro Icardi, another Argentinian player who played for Inter Milan and Paris Saint Germain, PSG, one of the most dominant football clubs in France. And the interesting thing here is I wonder if we see him in real time, could there be more of an overlap in terms of how these characters actually kind of like act in real life and possible abilities? But Kun Icardi is based off of Mauro Icardi, and Cassano is based off of Tonio Cassano, who played for Sampdoria for the country of Italy. So just to recap real quick. So Kun Aguero Agnes is based off of Sergio Kun Aguero. Walcott is based off of Theo Walcott. Fabregas is based off of Cesc Fabregas. Cuadrado is based off of Juan Cuadrado. Kang Horiang is based off of Beniamo di Giacomo. Aria Iniesta is based off Andres Iniesta. Imort, Kartsen Imort, Chagrinsky, Dmytro Chagrinsky. Kun Icardi, Mauro Icardi, and Cassano Antonio Cassano. And that'll be all for part one. We will be back with more in due time. Thank you. And this project, it continues. Patreon gang, huge shout out to the Patreon gang. Shout out to my certified BAM lovers, that's the CBL. Shout out to the Priests of Fire, those are the certified Brilith lovers. Are they the real CBL? I don't know, they could be. But a huge shout out to the Fifths and Gods, my tier 3 pledgers on Patreon. Big shout out to 5:28 a.m., Big Abdel, Alan, Andrew, Bruv, Childish Nujabes, Tris, Fitz, Infinite, Irene Sharda, Jacob Holland, Johnny Rogers, Lazy Dragon, Lucky Roo, Revenant, Scobe, Silo, Simi, follow Simi on Twitch, Sonny Katapali, Tino Brown, Zodiac, and Zyler Scotty. Thank you guys. Your support is greatly appreciated. And because of y'all, I don't gotta eat ice soup. Y'all ever had ice soup? Y'all never had to live off no ice soup, man.